Hello everyone, I'm back with an update on the ironing board cabinet. In the last few days I have encountered a few issues with getting this project to near completion. A few nights ago I went to the lumber store to get my supplies, the stain, the gloss, to get the top, bottom, and back panels. I also took with me my measurements and the drawing for the top panel. However, there were a couple of things that did go wrong in the cutting of the pieces that I needed. The first problem that I encountered was on the top panel. And the top panel here, as you can see, fits right into this area here, just like a puzzle. And it looks perfect now. But the problem that I encountered was that it was off by ½ inch here. So I had to put this piece right up against the door, and I had to pencil it off and then take it back into the lumber yard so that could be cut. Now this back panel, of course, is going to go on the back of the cabinet. The original piece that I purchased, about 1/4 inch from the top, began a nice little seam split down through the middle of the board. Now this didn't reflect on the reverse side, but the idea that that was split down through the middle, and over time that would be an issue. Also on the reverse side you had the manufacturing stamp on the board, and then at the very top there was like a moon shape wood hole that was right at the top. Totally unacceptable. Now, given the fact that the portion where that back part where the manufacturing stamp is going to be laying face down on the board, I don't have a problem with that, because there's going to be some liquid nail that's going to be put on the back of the board, and that's going to go right up against it, so I don't object to that. But those other issues would have been a big problem down the road. I'm going to be staining this board, and of course, as you can see, I've begun staining the cabinet, and it looks just absolutely beautiful. I had to do this. At first I was just going to leave the wood bare, but given the fact that I had to put the bottom panel to your left on and this top panel to your right on, the wood is new and it absorbed that staining, and it's quite dark. So it's probably going to take maybe one more or maybe two more applications for this to be somewhat close in the color. So this board is going to be, of course, stained, and this is going to go on the back of the cabinet, and it will be mounted on the wall. Now, the one thing that I can give the lumber store credit for is they did a wonderful job on the bottom panel. And I was just elated about that. That was probably the best thing that came out of this whole experience. And I went ahead and drilled the holes on each end here, so that will be attached to the board. Now the other thing that I ran into was that the board is beginning to splinter here, so I'm going to have to treat that. My little dog is under the cabinet, and so I'm going to have to treat that and make sure that that is taken care of before I actually put the bottom panel on. In the coming weeks, I will be giving you a full video on what happened and what I went through with getting this project complete. Anytime that you're doing any type of restoration, you're bound to run into some kind of hiccups along the way, and I just so happened to run into a few with this project, but I wouldn't change a thing. It's coming out beautifully. It'll look beautiful in the sewing and sitting room, and I'm just really excited about the process.